feel so awkward doing this in front of you, but hi everybody, welcome back to Samara Builds, where I'm building a better life. I've been wanting to do an interview for so long, and this is one of my very favorite people on the planet. This is Brooke.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. She's my cousin, and I already told her this off camera, but Brooke, you are somebody that when I look at you and your life, like I'm in awe of how far you've come and everything that you've had to overcome to get where you are. You've just really been such a good example for me of like, not only perseverance, but staying true to yourself and having fun along the way. And that's a really cool thing. So
Thank you.
I'm excited to interview you. Okay, do you want to just maybe tell a brief summation of your life?
I'm Brooke, Sammy's cousin, and oh gosh, my life. I was born to really young parents, but into a big family, which was really crucial, and grew up alongside my parents, but also got to experience the love of all my cousins, and I was an only child, and so that really helped to grow those relationships. And I moved to schools a lot when I was young, so I was always the new kid. Played by myself a lot. I pretended I was a dog for way too long. Went through a pioneer phase. Yep, my pioneer phase. And then, teenagehood happened, and I just wanted to fit in, and I think I did a decent job. But as I went into my younger 20s and left home to go to college, that was like, the 20s were probably like the hardest time, because I was like trying to be me, but also trying to figure out who the heck am I. But I came out the other side, good old Saturn return happened, and kind of flipped my life upside down and came back home to myself in the last few years. And that was a really hard but beautiful time. And yeah, I'm a nurse, but that's not my identity. It's just what I do. Had to separate myself from that. And I love art. And I love nature. That's who I am.
I love that. Who you are is beautiful, and that's awesome. When you say you came home to yourself, what does home mean for you?
I basically rediscovered all the parts of myself that I had quieted over the years and shoved in a corner, tucked under the bed, just the parts that I thought weren't like as like beautiful or pretty or easily accepted, like the dog and the pioneer thing mostly. Started doing that again. No, just kidding. But like I started gardening again, and I loved gardening as a kid with my grandma. And I started painting again. I would go through phases of life where I would go through a hard time, I'd start painting, and it would help me, and then I'd get a new boyfriend, and I would stop painting, and then we'd break up, and then I'd start painting again, but then another relationship. It's just over and over. But I basically just started listening to that voice inside and let her guide me back to things that I had forgotten about.
One thing I love about you and just our relationship so much is that whenever I'm with you, I feel like a little kid again. Like,
yes.
Like we were getting dressed for this video, and I was like, should we play dress ups? Like, only a little bit joking. Like,
Yeah, no, I was like I was ready to go.
Maybe we still should.
Outfit change.
And what a beautiful gift to be able to have somebody like that in my life. What does connecting to your inner child mean to you?
That is a great question. But it mostly, there's a couple different parts. Part of it is being kinder to myself. I know that's something we talk about a lot, because you wouldn't look at your younger self and berate them or talk badly about them or think negatively about them. So that's been a big part of it. And also just like getting back to the things that I loved as a kid, mostly for me. So painting, I loved taking photos. I still love building forts.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
getting dressed up. I love skiing. I've skied since I was 3. I love hiking. I spent a lot of times outdoors as a kid. Yeah, all the things that like sparked joy for me when I was like 7 do the same today. And the more I incorporate those things in my life, the better I feel.
In terms of like talking about like our inner child, in what ways have you done reparenting for yourself?
Reparented. I know I've done a lot of that.
Can I say some ways that I've seen it from you?
Yeah, that would help.
Well, you talked about off camera, you talked about how in your early 20s you were making some not so healthy decisions for yourself. You were having fun,
Yes.
but now I notice that you really make an effort to really take care of your body, like feed
Yes.
it nutritious foods that you know aren't going to upset it, and have a healthy relationship with alcohol. Move your body in a way that feels celebratory rather than like punishment
Totally.
or restrictive.
Yeah. I think one big part of growing up, as I'm sure you can relate because we came from the same family, is there was a lot of pressure and a lot of praise for how beautiful you were and outward appearance. And so from an early age, that was very much how I was given my self-worth. It was like 2 parts when I was young. It was knowing that I came from a young parent situation where I was not planned, and I like internalized that message that I had to like prove to myself that I was worthy to be there, to exist, because I didn't want anyone to regret the decision they made.
Wow.
And then the other part was like
Can I pause on that for a second? That's really heavy.
yeah. And it's not like,
I'm really sorry.
it's nothing that any of my parents like outwardly said, like, we regret having you. That's just a message I internalized on my own from reading into the situation, I guess, or knowing what a teen pregnancy does. Because I was a 3rd generation teen pregnancy. So, like, great grandma, grandma, my mom, all at 17. So, I wanted to make sure that I did not do that. And I made very specific choices so that I wouldn't repeat those things.
Well, I'm proud of you for breaking that cycle. But that is a heavy burden to bear as a teenager and a kid.
Yeah, it's something you can look back and say that was hard, but like when you're in it, you don't know what else to compare it to. It's just how life is.
Yeah.
You don't have any other way to contextualize.
And then I'm sorry I interrupted
No, you're okay.
a train of thought you were in.
So yeah, there was that part that I needed to reparent the way that that message was internalized and know that my worth doesn't, I'm not like have to get straight A's. I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to be the best nurse that ever was. I don't have to be perfect to be worthy of this existence. And that was a big chore, but I somehow got there. And then I think the other parts were just, taking care of myself. College is a very, great time. But social experiment wise, you're around a lot of alcohol, a lot of partying, and being told all the time, not told, but internalizing the message that your worth is as good as your outward appearance. And a lot of times that's comes from a male, like, derived kind of thing.
Yes, your appearance for the male gaze.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I was kind of shown that early on throughout my life that was something to be rewarded. So how to unlearn that was a way I reparented myself, because that was leading me down a path where I was self-sabotaging for sure. And kind of going back to that coming home in myself, like, for one example, pandemic happened and I just stopped wearing makeup because what was the point? And that was the first time since I had started wearing makeup that I actually liked who I saw in the mirror, I took my makeup off and I would think, oh, there I am, instead of putting the makeup on and thinking, oh, there I am.
Wow.
So that was like one way that I kind of came back home.
That's really cool.
Still love makeup to this day, but I do it when I want to do it and not because I feel like I need to set an expectation when I leave the house.
More just a fun expression
Yes.
rather than a requirement.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
You're like the only person I would ever be able to do this with.
Oh, thanks.
Because I know I can just be goofy.
Yes, yes. If there's anyone on this earth I can be goofy with, it's you. And thank God for that. Sometimes Sarah, my twin sister, is just like, what are you doing?
She's always been, I love her. She's always been the serious one. Yeah. She's been our mother. She's been taking care of us while we're running around grandma's house wearing crazy outfits and she's waking up.
I love it though.
I love her so much. But yeah, my goofy gal.
Another thing that I'm like particularly proud of you and am in awe of, and just I would like to know more about boundary setting, because I feel like you're really good at it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was really hard at first and really uncomfortable, but I first started to learn what a boundary was in like 2020. I started seeing my amazing therapist, and I owe a lot of these changes to that phase of life and to her. She helped me see that the way I was currently going about life was not healthy for me. And
what was the way you were currently going?
I was people pleasing all the time. And if I wasn't people pleasing, then I had horrible guilt and shame. And also coming from young parents and saying that we grew up together, there was still a lot of that going on where I, without even thinking, very subconsciously, would take on parenting roles and then feel it was my responsibility to direct, a family member in a certain direction, which now I know you can't control other people. That's not a relationship. And you need to let people just live the life that they're living and hold space for what that relationship can bring, whether it's, it might not be everything you ever wanted, but I certainly am in a place where I can have so much more gratitude and hold so much love and empathy than I ever was before boundaries. Before boundaries, I just had a lot of anger and resentment.
Yeah.
But with putting up boundaries, and a lot of times that meant space, which was really hard because I felt mean. But that space helped me kind of calm this inner part and then be able to approach relationships with a lot more empathy, I guess, instead of being angry all the time.
That's great.
Yeah.
So instead of coming to the person with unmet expectations,
Yes.
you're coming with an open heart.
Yes. My therapist had a great analogy that we kind of came up with together. I'm going to say that we came up with it together because she's not here to say otherwise. But we kind of talked about like if you were at a wheel with a pile of clay and you had so much clay, you're like, well, this can't be a pot. It's never going to be a pot. But I can make a decent cup out of it, and I'm going to be okay with that.
I love that.
Kind of taking what you can get and then learning to let go of the other parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that metaphor.
Thank you.
It's really good.
It helps a lot.
And like sometimes in life you think you need a pot, but what you actually need is a cup.
Yeah.
So
Very true. Sometimes, yeah, you think you want a pot, but you're a big girl now. You can deal with a cup.
exactly. I know like a lot of people ask like what would you tell your younger self? I'm just speaking for myself. For me that's hard because I don't know that I could have learned lessons earlier than I learned them, unfortunately.
I agree.
So do you want to answer that question, or do you want to hear my revision of it?
I want to hear your revision of it.
Okay. Coming up with it right now.
I think I have an idea.
Okay, yeah, let's hear.
Imagining me as my younger self and imagining some sort of, I don't know how else to describe it except for some like guardian angel coming in to tell me a message that I need to hear. But I agree, like you couldn't really tell your younger self something that you've learned as an adult.
Yeah.
So you just don't have the brain to do it. It's
Right.
not developed yet.
Right.
You're doing the best you can. I think that's
So instead
Like
of sending a
having-
message to like learn a lesson or change your life, what's maybe like a feeling you wish you could send yourself, or just a message of hope?
I would hope that said being would just give me a hug and let me know that it's not my responsibility. The world is not resting on my shoulders. That I can just be a kid and not worry so much about the people I love because they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
That me as a child, I literally cannot take care of other people.
Right. And you're going to be okay.
And then I'm going to be okay. Yes. Yes, I guess I should focus on myself instead of other people still. Oh my God.
Okay, so we've talked about like connecting to your inner child, reparenting, boundary setting, expectations of people, therapy. What's another tool in your toolbox for mental health that has really helped you a lot?
I feel like I have a lot of tools. I sometimes don't open the box.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wallow in bed and scroll on Instagram. But when I'm ready to open that box, and when I do, painting, huge. Traveling, it's a very privileged thing, but it brings me a lot of joy.
Yeah.
And I love, 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 love traveling. Cold plunges,
Ooh.
huge. I actually just messaged someone to get myself back out there because I did it all throughout the pandemic with your brother and Mike, and that literally like saved me during that time. That was so hard. Just shocking your system and going into that survival mode, and when you get out, you're like, oh, I survived that really hard thing. I did that thing. I can handle the stress of the day-to-day life. It made me feel a lot more capable. Working out, moving your body. I've gone through phases where that's helped me and phases where it's been really, where I've been doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
But I think I've finally found a groove. For now, who knows what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
For right now, doing okay on the body image section.
That's huge.
So yeah, those are some big ones.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's great. Great.
Great job.
You get a gold star.
Is there anything else you want to touch on? Like, if there's anybody who's like gone through something similar to you, or can relate to your story at all, what's a message you want to say to that person?
I would say that if you have quieted that little voice inside for years, decades, it's not too late to turn an ear towards it. And once you do that, it's kind of hard to stop listening, which is a good thing. But I found when I started listening to that voice that was telling me, you're on the wrong path, you need to go do something else, it was really terrifying, and I put it off for probably a couple years. But when I finally started listening to it and doing the scary things, it was so gratifying, and it became like a shout. Like, it became so much easier to hear and tune into that voice. And then I just let it take me wherever. I kind of like to think of life as a path, but more of a path of like stepping stones, and I don't always need to know where the next step is. There's always one that you can see right in front of you, and I'm trying to have faith to just keep walking on it. But I used to need everything planned out and have backup plans, plan C, plan D, and now I just try to let it go. Which is so much easier said than done.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I would say.
That's great. That's a powerful message. And then on this channel, I'm building a better life. In what ways are you right now building a better life?
I am very motivated to get home and paint again. Been through a dry spell because life has gotten extremely busy. But I am really excited to stick my brush in some paint and go to town. I have a lot of ideas. I have found a job that is a lot better mental health-wise, work-life balance. So I'm going to get back to work when I get home. But keeping those boundaries has helped a lot. And I need to keep working out because I've been skiing this last week and my legs have hurt really bad. And I want to keep skiing and hiking this year, and I need some strong legs to do that. So
That's great.
I'm going to move my body, go to a climbing gym, paint. And if I don't do it all the very first week I get back, that's going to be okay. I'm not a failure.
Are you sure?
We'll see. I'll text you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For doing this, being here, being open and vulnerable. And like, it's kind of like an awkward conversation because there's like this imaginary third audience
Third
member.
party.
But you did great. Thank you so much. Thank you. I just love you so.
Oh, there's so much.
You're my favorite person. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna keep doing more interviews, hopefully. But go ahead, like this video, subscribe, comment, tell Brooke how beautiful she is inside and out, because she is. Not that your beauty
Not that it has anything to do with your worth.
Okay, bye.